Before we get started, though, I do have to just make a brief announcement here. The governor has issued a disaster declaration related to the public health concerns caused by the statewide COVID-19 pandemic. As chair of the Zoning Board of Appeals, I've determined that an in-person meeting is not practical or prudent because of the risk of exposure to COVID-19 virus stemming from an indoor gathering, and that a remote meeting is in the best interests of the health, safety, and welfare of the board, staff, and general public. Okay, if I could have a roll call, please.
Sure. Mr. Anderson.
Here.
Mr. Schaub.
Here.
Mr. Blakeney. Do we have Mr. Blakeney? Maybe we don't. He said he could be here, but maybe not. Okay. Ms. Brand.
Here.
Mr. Penn.
Here.
Mr. Palmgren.
Here.
Mr. Sampson.
Here.
Okay, we certainly have enough for a quorum, whether Mr. Blakeney is on or not. Has everyone had a chance to review the minutes from our last meeting? From our April meeting?
Motion to approve the minutes. That was Tony.
Thank you.
This is Keith, I'll second.
Thank you. You would call for a vote, please?
Yes. Mr. Sampson.
I need to abstain.
Okay. Mr. Palmgren.
Yes.
Mr. Penn.
Yes.
Ms. Brand.
I need to abstain as well.
Mr. Schaub.
Yep.
And Mr. Anderson.
Yes. Okay, minutes are approved. We have two items on our agenda tonight. The first one is item number 21-05-04-V. It's a side yard setback variance request located at 104 East Poplar. And Ms. Davison, if you wouldn't mind giving us a little backstory on that, and we'll open up the floor for public comments after.
Yes, thank you. So this is an aerial map of 104 East Poplar. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Excellent. Okay, so here is the house in the red outline. It currently has no garage, and the owner would like to put up a carport basically over the end portion of the existing driveway, which is gravel. The carport would be approximately 12 feet wide by 30 feet long, and it would have at the north end of it, away from the street, it would have a 6x10 enclosed area for either yard equipment or, in his case, for his Jeep topper. And the way that this house is situated and the driveway is positioned right now, the carport would only be 2 feet from the side property line, where code requires that it should be 5 feet. It also, needs to be at least 5 feet, and Greg can correct me, from the house. You could maybe scooch it over a little bit, but it would mess with the alignment of the existing driveway, and it would kind of be a little tight with the house. So staff is comfortable with it, the way they're proposing it with the variance. The other thing to note is that with this project, the owner would be required to hard surface this driveway, which is currently gravel. So I think that's about it, unless Greg wants to add anything.
Doesn't sound like it, unless he's having audio issues.
No, I'm good. I think Mercy captured it pretty well.
Okay, thank you.
Happy to answer
Yeah.
questions.
Thank you. Do we have anyone here? Are the owners here that would like to speak or share anything?
The owners are on the call, so and I believe the audio is working.
Okay. So before you get started, if you'd like to share any other comments or anything along those lines, go ahead and just say something so I can see you briefly, because you'll pop up on the screen.
How's
here.
that?
Okay, great. And then if you just raise your right hand and affirm that what you're about to tell us is the truth.
What I'm about to tell you is truth, whole truth, nothing but the truth.
Thank you. And then just again, if you would state your name and your address.
Jeffrey Todd, 104 East Poplar, normal Illinois.
Okay, thank you.
No problem.
And then if you would, anything you'd like to add to the request?
No, Mercy covered it well. I just made a note. I didn't realize I would have to hard surface my driveway in order to do that. I didn't know if I'd be able to put in my guesstimation with 30 feet, because I haven't gotten bids yet. I discussed this with Mercy a week or two ago, right, Mercy? Didn't we discuss it? I've been trying to get bids, but all the construction guys are pretty swamped right now, and I haven't been able to get any bids on it. But my guess is there would probably be 4x4 poles on each side that would hold the structure up. And I was planning on, before I just heard the hard surface, digging holes at least 42 inches deep, pouring it with concrete, and then securing those posts to those concrete posts. But if that's not possible, I don't know if that's possible or not. I got that idea because my son has one, but he's in Kentucky. It's a totally different world. So that's where I got the idea of just using posts rather than having to put the expense into the expense. And quite frankly, we love the gravel driveway. My wife likes the grass growing up in the middle of it. I don't know. So that's my deal. But if it requires a hard surface driveway, then that's what I would do if that's required. And
Mr. Anderson,
Greg, Craig?
I apologize, Mercy, that we didn't discuss this in full. I didn't realize that was even a deal. I'm sorry about that.
Okay. As we have discussions around this, that sort of thing, so any type of a motion that we would entertain, we'll want to make sure that that's part of the motion that we're talking about, not just the part of the side yard setback. So.
Okay. So I'd have to pave it or concrete, right?
Right, asphalt or concrete, yes.
Okay.
Mr. Trumbull, did you have something that you wanted to add?
I'm not sure. I don't know if you can see Greg, but I think he's checking into something.
Okay.
But yeah, I apologize, Mr. Todd. Greg, they were asking if you had anything to add, especially about hard surface.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I had a phone call quickly to attend to. No, and apologies on the hard surfacing if that fell through the cracks. Your scenario about using the post arrangement is fine for the structure. Granted and acknowledged that contractors are hard to come by at this time of year as well. Generally speaking, we do give people probably a year to finish their project. So, we write the permit pending approval. We can work with you that gets you through essentially this building season. The other thing I'd throw out is it's not uncommon in older neighborhoods for people to actually deploy using strips instead of fully surfacing the entire driveway. And that's certainly an option. So we can work with you on that.
So that there would be 2 strips basically where the wheels run up
Yes.
every time I drive.
Yep. And we just want to
Oh,
make sure they're reasonably, a reasonable width. We don't want to, 8 inches the width of your tire. It's got to have a little wiggle room. So,
Correct.
but no, we can work on that.
Oh, that would be nice. Yeah. Susie could keep her grass in the middle of the driveway.
There we go. Yes. Thank you, Mr. Trumbull. I appreciate that input.
Sure.
Thank you, Greg.
Was there anyone else that would like to speak with regards to this request?
No.
Okay. We'll go ahead and close the public portion of this.
Hey, Todd,
yeah,
I'm sorry.
yes,
I
sir.
wanted to confirm one more thing. Is it okay to have a flat or slightly sloped roof rather than a peaked roof? Because if you see my house, well, you can't probably tell from the house, but the slope of the roof on the house goes from front to back or north to south. And if I did that on the driveway, it would just slope all the water would just slope right down into my driveway, you know?
Right.
And if I did it the other way, sloped it this way instead of this way, it wouldn't look right with the house. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I just wanted to confirm before you guys approve this that a flat or the back roof of my house is actually the kitchen area, and it has what's a flat roof. You know what I mean, with the proper shingles on it, etc. So I just wanted to throw that by you before.
Yeah. So the plan is for the gable roof right now?
Correct. Well, that's what I would like to do. Correct.
Mm-hmm. And
Is
I
that
don't.
a gable roof's a flat roof? I'm sorry. Is that a flat roof type?
No,
No, a gable roof is kind of like what you have right now in the picture.
That picture? Yeah, yeah. No, I would want it to be more of a flat roof just because you can see the two pictures side by side. It would look kind of goofy next, you know what I mean? It doesn't slope the same way.
Mhm. Yeah, I don't think there's an issue with, other than what you've already mentioned in terms of any water runoff or anything along those lines. There's certainly no issue with what any of our requirements would be. So,
Okay,
yeah.
okay. I'm sorry to cut in on you there.
No, that's perfectly fine.
All righty.
All right, we will go ahead and close the public portion now. And a question for staff, was there any other neighbors or anything along those lines that had made any comments with regards to this request?
I just heard from one person who was just curious as to what was being done, and he didn't seem to care.
Way. Okay. All right. Thank you. All right. Any other comments or question for staff or discussion?
I have one more question. I'm sorry, I'm not
I
staff.
can open this back up. Yes, sir.
You said it normally is about a 1-year complete project. If I'm running into trouble 6 to 9 months out from now and these construction guys are overwhelmed. I work in real estate also, I sell real estate. And to get them to do anything now is like pulling teeth. Can I get an extension if I can't get someone there to build this structure for me? Or is that something I have to go in front of you again and request that?
Mr. Anderson, if I could take that.
Yes,
So
please.
two different things going on here, Mr. Todd. So the variation, if granted, is good for 1 year. So meaning like you have a year to pull a permit. So, so essentially you have 2 years. So if you wait till the tail end of, if you pull your permit next May,
Okay,
then you'll have another year. So you're all right that way. So don't.
okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Mhm. Okay. Thank you. Again, any other comments for discussion from the board?
Are there any requirements? It's Corinne. Are there any requirements as to what the structure has to be made out of? So for example, instead of the picture in the request, what could it be, like metal poles and a metal roof, or one of those plastic roofs like you sometimes see?
Well, we have authorized those in certain locations. They're very popular in mobile home parks where they're less permanent. I guess I would take the position that the construction itself is going to need to meet the building code, period. So whatever construction methods or materials are used, that's just in play, period. I think that would be a pretty far deviation from what's being represented here tonight for the board to look at, to all of a sudden say, I'm going to go to a metal pole corrugated roof structure. That's not what we're anticipating here. That's
Okay,
just my 2 cents.
thank you.
Again, any other questions or comments? And if not, we'd certainly entertain a motion.
This is Randy. I move that we approve the variation as requested with the additional requirement of a hard surface driveway.
This is Tony, I'll second.
Okay, if we could call for a vote, please.
Sure. Mr. Schaub,
Yes.
Ms. Brand,
Yes.
Mr. Penn,
Yes.
Mr. Palmgren,
Yes.
Mr. Sampson,
Yes, for me too.
and Mr. Anderson.
Yes. Variation request has been approved. So again, please work with staff over the course of the next 2 years. And I certainly understand the difficulty with getting contractors and that sort of thing. And you mentioned being swamped, and I think they've been literally swamped with all the rain as well as all the work, which is really backing them everything up as well. So, again, continue to work with staff.
Thank you very much.
Mhm.
Have a good night.
Thank you. You too. All right, the second item that we have on our agenda is item number 21-05-05-V. It's an accessory structure size variance request located at 1117 North Linden. And Ms. Davison, if you would give us some backstory on that as well, we'll go ahead and get started.
Sure, I can do that. And then just for Mr. Todd's benefit, you don't have to stay for the rest of the meeting if you don't want. We won't take it personally if you just sign off. So, or you're welcome to stay though. Okay, so 1117 North Linden, I have the picture of the house up here on the screen. Currently, the house has a kind of a pull under garage around the back side. So you pull in and go under. And that's a 2-car. And then there's this 1-car garage back here on just the west end of their driveway. You can tell it's a pretty big lot. What they're proposing to do is to take down the 1-car garage and replace it with a 2-car garage, but at a size that exceeds the code maximum so the code allows up to 720 square feet. What they want to build would be 1,080 square feet, but it would meet the setbacks and that sort of thing, and it would be roughly in the same location. One little clarification is that on one of the drawings, it was made to look like the lot is only 140 feet deep. In fact, the lot is closer to 275 feet deep. So it's you can tell there's a lot of yard that would still be here. Staff is recommending denial just because we haven't found a particularly unique circumstance in that you could build a 720 square foot garage here. But I know the owners are here and have information they'd like to present as well. And so I think that's all I have to say.
Okay, thank you. All right, again, we'll go ahead and open up public portion here. And then if the owners are here that would like to say a few words or add any comments to what's already been mentioned, please, again, if you would say something again so I can kind of see on the screen.
Oh, my name is Ben Walker.
Thank
I own
you.
the property.
Oh, okay. And then again, if you would raise your right hand and just affirm that what you're about to tell us is the truth.
I say it's going to be the truth.
Thank you. And again, I know you just stated your name, but if you'd state your name again and your address as well.
My name is Benjamin Walker. I live at 1117 North Linden Street.
Thank you. Okay, please, if you would.
All right, so as you can see, I have a fairly large lot, and what I would like to do is, I know that the normal only allows a 24 by 30 garage, but as you can see, the lot's larger, and I would like to, what I'd like to have is a 30 by 36. Unfortunately, I have quite a bit of stuff that I'd like to keep under cover, and that would allow me to park everything in my garage. I'm hoping to have that done anyway. And then where the white truck is sitting, that would all be concrete up to the garage. It'd be hard surface. Right now, it's more of a gravel driveway. And that's pretty much the extent of it.
Okay, thank you. Do we have any, does the board have any questions for Mr. Walker?
This is Corinne. Do you have, does Mr. Walker have a lot of, I can't quite read it from the request, but like a boat and other smaller vehicles, recreational type vehicles that will be stored in the garage or trailer or that type of vehicle?
Yeah, so actually I have a boat that I was hoping to get in there. The boat is actually 33.5 feet long. That's why I need it so deep, is actually to allow that to actually get to the back of the garage. Otherwise, the 30-foot would work if I didn't have that. But the boat is almost 34 foot deep. So I was hoping to get that in there.
Okay. And so currently you store the boat off-site?
Yeah, right now it's
Not
off-site. It's off-site in a storage unit, but I would prefer to have it to where I could work on it.
Okay, thank you.
Do we have any other questions for Mr. Walker? Doesn't sound like it. Is there anybody else that would like to speak with regards to this variation request?
I think there are at least a couple of different folks, and the first ones would be Jerry and, oh, the name I cannot see on my screen, so they can unmute
Mr.
themselves though.
Is that Mr. and Mrs. Lynn?
Yeah. Yeah, it's Matthew Brennan and Jerry Lynn Abernathy.
Oh, okay, thank you. And again, if you would, before you get started, if you would raise your right hand, just to affirm that what you're about to tell us is the truth.
What we're about to tell you is the truth.
Okay, and again, if you would, thank you. And if you would state your address, please.
1115 North Linden Street.
Okay, thank you. Please go ahead.
Ben and Brooke take really good care of their property, and it's upkept really nice. And we wouldn't have a problem at all with that garage going in at that location and that size. We do have very deep lots there, and I don't think it'd be a problem at all.
No. Not a bit. In fact, it sounds like it's going to be an overall improvement to, from the current garage and the setup that they have now. It'll be a lot, it'll flow a lot easier for them. And it's right adjacent to our lot. It's going to back, the south side right next to it. And we certainly have no problem whatsoever with it.
Okay. Thank you. I appreciate that. Do we have any questions for these folks? I'm assuming no. Okay. Thank you. I appreciate it. Do we have any other individuals here that are present that would like to speak with regards to this variation request?
They're a draper, the Drapers.
Okay.
Mike Draper.
Okay, yes, sir. I'm not able to see you, but again, if you would just affirm what you're about to tell us is the truth.
Yes, Michael Draper. I live at 1110 North Linden, and what I'm about to tell you is true.
Okay, thank you. And please.
So I also, as I mentioned, I'm at 1110, and so I sit a couple houses down, but across the street from the Walker residence. I too, with the depth of that lot, I just don't see how it's actually not going to improve the property values across the board. from what's there now and the outside storage with those things being able to be inside, I just don't see it a detriment to the neighborhood whatsoever. I guess I just wanted to weigh in on that matter.
Okay, thank you. And I'll open this up to the group if there's any other questions for Mr. Draper. Okay. And then we have a lot of folks here. Is there anyone else that would like to speak with regards to this request?
There are a couple of other Drapers on the line. I don't know if they also, but those are two more people. So if that's who you're looking at, that's who it is.
Okay.
I actually live at, I'm Jackie Draper.
Oh.
I also live at 1110 North Linden, and I have the same feeling as what Michael has as well.
Okay. Thank you. Again, any other questions for anyone part of the public? Okay, and then is there anybody else, just one final request, if there's anybody else that would like to speak to this variation request, please let me know.
We did hear from one of the person who couldn't make it tonight at the last minute. He was not in favor, but I told him, I just mentioned it. So
Okay.
he lives a few doors down. So
Okay. Thank you. Anything in writing, or it was just a phone call?
it was just a phone call, and I told him I can't really testify on his behalf. So
Sure. Okay. Appreciate that. All right, we'll go ahead and close the public portion of this. Thank you for all the comments. Any comments from the board? Questions for staff?
Hey, Todd, this is Darren. I had a question for staff earlier in the week, and I got it answered. I had asked about their option to add a 720 square foot garage in addition to the existing 3-car, and that apparently was possible. And doing some quick math, that was around 1,045 square foot of space. I have heard and understand what the applicant is indicating about the length of the boat, and so there's just not that much more square footage that they're asking for, it appears, in a new single structure that would all apply to. And so my question for staff is, having torn down the old garage, then everything new then would apply to the building code and electrical code for all the work done there, correct?
Yes.
Correct. Yep. That's accurate, Mr. Sampson. Yep.
Thanks for that.
Thank you. Any other comments or questions? And if not, I would entertain a motion.
I move that we approve the variance as requested.
This is Keith. I'll second that.
Oh, okay, if you would call for a vote, please.
sure. Ms. Brand,
Yes.
Mr. Penn,
I'm sorry, yes.
Mr. Sampson,
Yes.
Mr. Palmgren,
Yes.
Mr. Schaub,
Yes.
Mr. Anderson.
Yes. Variation request has been approved. Okay, and again, please continue to work with staff regarding that, and we'll have some further discussion, but not with regards to your variation request. So if you're welcome to leave or stay, whichever you like.
All right. Thanks, guys. Have a good evening.
Thank you very much.
Before we adjourn, I do have a question. Obviously, we're still meeting remotely. There's been a lot of discussion with regards to what CDC has come out with, et cetera, et cetera. And I just didn't know if the town has had any further discussion with regards to masks, social distancing, meeting remotely, those sorts of things, or if you're anticipating any communication around just with other board meetings and things of that nature.
Yeah, so I mean, in general, we've been following the CDC guidelines and/or Illinois Department of Public Health and/or Pritzker, Governor Pritzker. So they all seem to be converging at this point. But since the announcement's so recent, there hasn't been a decision about what you asked. I'm quite sure that we will follow the lead of the town council. So
okay,
there wouldn't be a circumstance in which you all would meet in person before the council meets in person. So I guess we can stay tuned and see what happens on June 7th. And then, but as soon as I know, I'll let you know.
Sure.
So,
Yeah,
because we'll have to
it's
take the way our notice gets published too, because right now our notices all say it's remote. So.
Right. I'm sure it's a popular discussion around businesses all over the world right now, right? But and it's such a tough one here that because you trying to follow HIPAA guidelines and not asking, have you been vaccinated? Those kinds of things. It gets very, 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 very difficult to really understand where everybody is and then apply that for all. So, but I appreciate it, and we'll continue to wait patiently. Obviously I can't wait to see you all from more than just this much up,
Yes.
right?
I have to start wearing
Todd,
dress
I
pants.
will
again.
share.
Yes.
Go ahead, Darren.
Todd, I will. Yeah, no problem. I'll share that the Bloomington Normal Sister Cities Committee with Japan, I chair, we're continuing to meet virtually as well. Number one, because CIRA, where we meet out at the airport, they're not offering up the conference room for reservations at this time. So they've kind of locked down the room to prevent us, but we're in that holding pattern as well for that committee.
Sure. No,
are likely to be meeting virtually for quite a period.
Yeah, I know it's early. I'm just one of those that I like to see people in person when you can. I just want to make sure you're not wearing sweatpants. That's the other thing I want to make sure, Darren. So okay.
No pants at all,
short
Todd.
tonight. Short tonight, man.
Yeah, we do have a meeting for June. Just FYI, we have items filed, so they're virtually or in person. There will be a meeting.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Anderson, I know there's one question Mercy and I hope we get really clear direction on this. I have a feeling when we do move back to in-person meetings, there's going to be a contingent of the population that wants both options. And personally, I would not be in favor of that. It's enough gymnastics to pull these off in general. So our hope is that council makes a pretty firm decision that we're just going to go back to meeting in person. And because I know for some folks, it's more convenient to be able to just testify from your living room or participate, but it does get tricky.
It does. I think we lose a little bit of communication when we're doing it virtually. So, but okay. Could I have a motion to adjourn? Unless there's anything else anybody would like to talk about, I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
I make a motion that we adjourn tonight's ZBA meeting.
Second.
Okay, if you call for a vote, please.
Mr. Schaub,
Yes.
Ms. Brand,
Yes.
Mr. Penn, oh, were you on mute, Tony? Did you say aye? I'll skip him. I'll go to Mr. Palmgren,
Yes.
Mr. Sampson,
Yes.
and Mr. Anderson.
Yes. All right. Thanks, everyone. Good seeing you, and hope you all have a wonderful evening. We'll see you, I guess, in a month, right? So.
You too.
Yep.
Bye.
Indeed.
Take care.
All right. Bye.
Bye.